A function expression is a function that I can create without assigning a name to that. I can just use the keyword function, use open and close parentheses for declaring that. I may or may not have parameters for that function. This is why it's also known as anonymous function, because I don't need a name for that. Although I can assign that anonymous function to a variable, I could also, there are many scenarios where we use function expressions without even assigning that to a variable. But if I do that, if I assign that function to a variable, I could use that variable name to invoke that function whenever I need. Let me show you an example. If I go back to the code, let me create a function which I receive a message, and then I can console log that message on the browser, and then I can call that function. So if I save here, you can see that I get this hi on the console. So I just declare the function using a function declaration. I receive message as a parameter, and then whenever I call, I can send any value as an argument, which is going to be logged here. Let me do the exactly same thing, but using a function expression. Let me just declare that, where I receive the message, and then I log that same message. And then I can invoke that function whenever I need. If I save, you can see here that the result is exactly the same thing. So I am calling the function, I am logging that information. So most of the time there is no difference between a function declaration or a function expression. However, there is one main difference between them that you need to be aware of, which is a function declaration. Whenever the browser or whatever engine that is running my code, it gets the load of the file, it will get all function declarations and it will bring all of them into the memory. And then whenever I need to use that, that is going to be available already. That doesn't happen with function expressions. Function expressions will only be allocated inside the memory once I get to the line where I am creating that function expression. In reality, what does that mean? Well, let's say in this example here, I move this line of code to go before the function, and if I save that, you can see that my code still works. In this case, I am trying to use the function write fndec before I have created that, and that still works because the way the engine works, it will load all function declarations. So whenever I need to use them, all of them is going to be available. It's not the same with function expressions. It's only created once I get to this line. So if I try to do the same thing, if I try to use that function expression before the line where I create that, if I save, you can see that I'm going to get this error. So that's the main difference that you need to be aware of. Other than that, they behave very similar. And besides function expressions, we also have arrow functions.